So we need to keep
I
that.
had to jump in on that one because you were so right on spot with what you just said. And this is Rick Martin once again. I just jumped back in. And when you say parasites, I want you guys really to look at it just as what they are, and that is parasites. And with that, I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, they're parasites, man. They just need to be detoxed. How are we detoxing? By educating our people. And we are being educated not only by me, by Derrick, because man, you guys, I don't even need to tell you, because you guys listen to Derrick all the while, I'm sure. The amazing work that he does, the encouragement that he does for society. I mean, he's there, and this is the first time I'm hearing Rick Martin, even though I see his work many times, and some of the things that he actually show in his video when it used to be available. I look at them, I say, oh yeah, all right, I've got to read that. Do not be afraid to look into the things that I show you. What I'm showing you is foundational. It's a structure in which every man is built upon. So you can create them yourself. This is the reason why you learn that your household is useful for you, your wife, your daughter, your son. They're supposed to follow your instruction, and they will develop to create a better society for us. What they're trying to do is to distract us, take our energy into slavery. We always paying goddamn bills because they're always bringing cooperation to make money off of us from various areas. We need to
Politics,
cut that out.
poly being many, and ticks being blood sucking parasites.
Oh yeah.
Two Fox, could I ask you something? Because I heard you speaking
Yeah.
about the insurance a few minutes ago. Um, so if we are not getting like the commercial insurance or anything like that, or is there another way that we can be, responsible if we was to like, run into somebody or tear up somebody's property? What would we
Yeah.
do if we don't want to deal with their commercial insurance?
Create one for yourself. I create insurance policy many times before. So right now where I'm at, I'm about to create an insurance policy for the nation. So what do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Um, so like right now, what we have right here, we have a society. We can now, as we sit here today, write an insurance policy, and each one of us pay $10 within it. We can agree to make sure the insurance policy covers whatever damages that we keep putting money inside of that society. Once we put the money inside of the society which we created and built, we will then, whoever get the hit of the car, we will then make sure that car being paid for and that person being damaged paid for. We keep paying in that insurance policy. Now, the person who caused the damage, indeed, you're gonna pay at least 5% more than whatever we're gonna pay because you just caused the damages. So you want you to help back build back the pool back to where it was, and we keep going on from there. And anytime they pull it over, you give them the policy number, they will have a legitimate policy within their system showing that there's a legitimate policy, and they will you can't touch it. We can also make the policy that we can generate currency from the policy. Guys, this is what I do and people pay for it. We can make the policy that I didn't want to come off the topic, but we can make the policy that we can pull from that policy to fund anything that we wanted to fund. And we can make the policy to say, for instance, man and woman going through some hardship. We can say when the policy reach 75,000, we'll be able to take 25,000 and give it to and man and woman will pay back that interest with 6% interest towards $25,000 within the two to 3 years. And then the next 2 to 3 years, once man and woman pay off that policy, we can take another 25,000 and give it to Jenny, and so on and so forth, while we are generating the same currency for that pool to protect our rights, interests, and title to any person that actually get injured and harmed. And then we will take ourselves effectively out of their system and have our own system operating for our own benefit for our own people. I deal with
Wow.
government, so that's why it seems like it's so easy to flow off my tongue. But that's how I structure government and try to make sure people operate in the proper capacity and so on and so forth.
Hopefully that'll be a class soon. I would love to be a part of that one as well.
Yeah, we're going to try to work on some stuff little by little. Hopefully the nations then that I'm working with, because the workload is kind of heavy. Because creating these documents are not easy. Because you have to put a lot of statutory provision inside of it, so that other government can't come in and try to take over our shit. Anybody else? That's it.
Hey, hi, cool.
Go ahead, Stephen.
Hey, just like that. What about the naturalized citizen on
What
on this process versus the U.S. born?
the natural citizen versus the U.S. born? The natural citizen mean the natural bloodline. So my bloodline is natural born. It came from my direct bloodline. Now, if another person come forth to come forth like the United States Declaration, 14th Amendment citizen, that's a genocidal act. Our citizenship work. Let me just show you that way I don't talk because I want you guys to get a view of it rather than just talk. Let's look at citizenship, for instance. Let's go back to Mr. Bouvier. Mr. John Bouvier shows that the United States citizen, our citizen structure, is gonna slow. All right, there you go. Stop moving now. When citizens, when it comes to citizenship, our structure, again, this is not about race. This is just about fact. So you're gonna see certain words and certain phrases gonna seem like racist, but I don't want you to look at race. I want you to look at structure. Citizen, person, one who under the Constitution and laws of the United States has a right to vote and represented in Congress. That's what a citizen is. Right to vote and represented in Congress.
Brother, one's not sharing screens.
Hmm?
One is not sharing screen.
Oh, it's not sharing. Okay, hold on.
I can see it.
No, we see it. We see it.
Oh, okay.
All right. So citizen on the definition, one who under the Constitution, the right to vote represented in Congress and other public office. So that means the people who are appointed, one who qualified to fill the office. So that means your lineage. So these are people that actually make a vow that their lineage is going to operate and separate, run those offices. In the gift of the people, in more extent sense, under the word citizen, include all white person born in the United States. Why is that? Because they're their blood lineage. They're the one that's supposed to come from British, and that's the one that's establishing that constitution. And naturalize, you see that now? Now people that's actually from another government or from another body, that's gonna naturalize person born outside of the same. So anybody that's outside the United States have to be naturalized in there, can't be delegated, can't be declarated. One who have not lost their right to such, and it should include men and women and children. Citizen either native born again, naturalized, or naturalized, native born bloodline, naturalized. Native citizens who are made fill of office. Naturalized citizens may be elected or appointed at any other office underneath the Constitution of the United States, except the office of the president. So that tries to show you right there, they can't go too far. They're not going to get nowhere. It's just like the father and his household. So they can't be in a certain position where they're naturalized. The Constitution provides that the citizens of each state shall be entitled to the privilege and immunity of the United States and several states. Article 4, Section 2. All natives are not citizens of the United States. Again, all natives are not citizens of the United States. The descendants of the Aborigines people that's originally here, and those that have our African origins are not entitled to the rights of the citizen of the United States. Again, so then how did these people become citizens of the United States? Through a declaration? Ha! I laugh at that matter. An anterior adoption of the Constitution of the United States of each and the right of the citizen, such as person is as pleased, that the Constitution does not authorize any but white person to become citizen of the United States, and it must therefore presume that there are no citizens who are not white. There are rules you have to naturalize. Naturalize meaning they have to come to your government, and then your government and them make an agreement unto the person who they're trying to naturalize. That means I have to make an application, apply for citizenship. My government review the application and my signature, and then their government agree, and then they agree to it. They pay my government a certain amount of money, and then the government go ahead and relinquish me to them, and then I accept the obligation and the vow thereof, and then I pledge their allegiance. That's how I naturalize. You might think no money acquire, money have to be given because you're taking my offspring who will be invested in my country to be able to get my country developed. I know you're taking my offspring, then I want to need some form of compensation on my offspring in which you are taking. Right? So the citizen is the first principle where the rights of the people are being shifted and placed from it. So residents alone really can't really put it. So when I say a citizen of the United States residing in any state of the union is a citizen of that state. So when they see that, they're trying to say now, oh, just because you're residing here, no, you're a citizen. No, but the first thing it said, a citizen of the United States. It never said, oh, because you're residing here, you're a citizen. No. No, 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 no. Sorry. But you first have to figure out, how do I become that? How do I reach to that? How do I come to that? Through naturalization. Naturalization have another category in which it have to happen. Naturalization have a steps and intelligible principle or operate. Naturalization, this is natives, national, natural presumption, naturalization. Naturalization by the act of which an alien is made a citizen of the United States. So everybody outside of the United States who are not white back in those times have to be naturalized in order for them to become a citizen of the United States at that time. The Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 8, vests the Congress of power to establish a uniform naturalization in pursuit of the authority of Congress to pass several laws that can subject to which they are general interest and transcribed as far as they are enforced in. An act to establish a uniform for rules of naturalization and repeal act thereof, and therefore to pass the subject and approve, and they give it the rule 1802. Being enacted that any alien being of a free white person may be admitted to become a citizen of the United States, or any of them are of the following condition and not otherwise. First, that a child be of a declared on an oath of affirmation. Again, so everybody is going into that political body must take an oath and affirmation before the Supreme Court or the Superior District or the court. So in other words, if you want to relinquish that, the opposite thing, you always do that also with the inside of a court. You can relinquish that status. You can find it in the 59 Congress, second session, also Representative Document 326. It's just basic fundamental principle. Every law have a certain structure in which it's followed. What is happening is you have people coming in and doing some bullshit. Just like they're trying to tell you the same way the principle of purchasing the property, somebody else have the title. But the truth is they're manipulating the way to get the title. How do they get the title for your car, ladies and gentlemen? By first take the selling person to give up the property of the car, but that's a violation of any contract. Hear what the UCC said. The UCC said right here the passing of the title, the reservation of security, limitation of application. I guess I'll just talk about that another time, but I'm gonna just show you this one only, right? Unless otherwise explicitly agreed, the title pass to the buyer at the time and the place at which the seller completes his performance with the reference of the physical delivery of the goods. So when you buy a goddamn car and they gave you the key, they're supposed to give you the title at the same god fucking time. So why the fucking state have a title?
That's a very good question. When government assumes this role, it absolutely infringes on the natural rights to own property, and it also creates dependency. And this is what has weakened society, is because they take away your right to property. And that means the way you think and what you have as far as your possessions. And let's keep that in mind. Okay. And I had to jump in on that just because I am so sick and tired of listening to these these people out there that believe they have the authority to convert our unalienable rights into their public property. And with that, I'll yield.
That's exactly what they're doing to you guys. They're taking a property, then use the same property, generate currency off of it. Listen, let me explain this to you. That's a violation of 15 US Code 1. Restriction of trade and commerce through governmental policy in violation of 18 US Code 2331, domestic terrorism. So in order for you as a people to invoke criminal laws, you have to bring them before the people into a jury concept. Bring them right into a jury principle, right into the court of law, and let the people judge them. But you have to first learn the concept and the structure of law so you can educate the people of that same law and let them know that they're being robbed by the state, and the state will get sued and then shut it fucking business down. It's $100 million lawsuit for restriction of trade and commerce. It's a conspiracy against rights. Both the dealer and the state did that. All right, I'm gonna, because I know I'm gonna go too deep and too deeper and deeper, and I want to make sure you guys get a time to speak with Derrick as well.
Well,
So curious, really quick. Does it make sense to like a class action lawsuit around this stuff?
You
Like
can you can do a class action lawsuit, yes, indeed, upon every governmental official across the nation. Across the nation, for each, you
state.
can make an injunction. You got to understand what it is under the rules, what the injunction for, what the purpose of a rescission. The purpose of a rescission is to stop fraud. The injunction is to make sure that they don't do it again and to prevent them from doing such action again. The
right. And
But
the system was built on limited, keep this, limited enumerated powers at the federal level. Okay. And everything has been consent, our own consent based. And when we have a grievance, and if we're going to go with a class action suit, okay, it's showing that there's a great enumeration, number of people that have been damaged by this action. And I think what I'm trying to get across is government was put there to protect our rights, and now we need to start holding them accountable to step up to defend those rights, both on a federal and a state basis. And I think right now, the way the states have been structured, in my opinion, is the reason why, if you heard me speaking earlier, our court system in itself, and I'm sure there's a few of you that don't agree with me on this, but because of the fraud that is being manipulated in the court systems, in our county courts. The reason I'm looking at, the reason why I'm speaking to people like Pam Bondi is because I look at it this way, is we start holding these court systems, our county court systems, uh, in a federal lawsuit, RICO lawsuit. And I think that is probably the only thing we're going to see playing out our system. I'm not putting my faith in the federal government. Don't get me wrong on that. But I'm thinking that if we can start bringing our sheriffs on board and get them to act constitutionally, and we start getting real grand juries put together and we go after them in a federal level, I think we might be able to get some recourse on it. And with that, I will back off.
You'll get recourse on it. Yes, yeah, you gotta have the people in because they won't change the law because of one or two men complaining. But when they start affecting the nations, of course, indeed, they will change that shit immediately. So that's the reason why we come out as TikTokers. And you see, many of us they try to I'm gonna tell you one of the key things that I use to make sure that they don't block me on TikTok or any other platform. I use foundational laws and I use their documents whenever I'm presenting any court or anything on TikTok. So when they try to block me, eventually I just go ahead and take the same documentation that's on the federal or the state website and present it back to TikTok, and TikTok will unlock me immediately. So you guys are on some good constitutional standing, but the issue is they are seeing it as something else. So once they try to block you and they know that you're equivalent with word and phrases to show that they cannot restrict your freedom and liberty from doing certain things that's not in violation of the prison, they would unlock you guys. So every one of you that is actually being restricted, um, you need to try to use their documentation, and then you become more successful on the internet whenever you're doing any form of presentation or any form of conversation. So when they try to do it and restrict me, all I do is just show them about the documentation which I use, and they will see that it came from the federal or the state government website, and they can't deny that.
Absolutely. Um, Now you're a great speaker, Cool Fox. Now let me ask you, when you went through the government documentation and the very founding of this nation, did you recall reading about the original founder's intent was to shrink government over time? And
The original foundation of the intent when they were setting up a government was actually to establish a great community with the people of the nation because they were separating from the foreign power, but they were still tied in bondage with certain debts to the England power. So what happened over time was the people here, the nation, was doing a lot of game with them. So queen and kings used to come over and do that little game on any deceptive practice. And one day they just come over with their ships and take over Virginia. And then sure, taking over Virginia, they take over another state, take over another state, take over another state, little by little, and that's how they establish themselves to be here. And then by the time the people them understand that that's what's happening, right? And that by the time the people of the who were originally farming the government so realized that that's what happening, it was too late and they didn't have no enough power to actually kick them off. So they keep crept in little by little, and little by little over time they dismantling states. Little by little, keep doing it over time, little by little. But people that originally start this government, United States government, was friends and was really fighting wars with the people that was here to defend this territory and this land. It just men over time crept in unaware.
now I'm sure you're well aware of the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. I would
Yes.
love for you to expound on that some more. It's one of the things that I use in court quite a bit, but you're such a wonderful speaker. I'm just going to back off. If you can get into the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine, I would love for you to tear it up.
They try to use they try to use various cases inside of where I worked for a guy one time, and they were trying to use marijuana. They were trying to use marijuana. They were trying to see if I could find the state law. It was Tennessee, I think. I don't remember. But they were trying to use marijuana as the principle of the opposites of trying to get the scent of marijuana to get inside of his vehicle. You see, you got to understand what they're trying to gain here. They're trying to gain probable cause. You
Mhm.
see, but probable cause, again, as I expressly say, it is not a right. It is a prerequisite of a right. In other words, certain action must be done, prerequisites for it to be able to happen. And one of those things that need to be done is an oath and affirmation. Therefore, it has to be brought before a judge in which they're going to litigate over it about among themselves, talk about it among themselves. And then after the talk about it among themselves, they will go ahead and issue out that warrant. And that warrant, when they issue out, they must take you directly in front of the judge, in which they will do an order to show cause. Now, if they've done any form of violation throughout the process, they cannot enforce any of their laws because they cannot make any wrong go without a remedy. All wrong has to be remedied. So, even though they might try to show that they have some form of right to invoke something while they did some form of wrong, they cannot use that thing. So, they
It
cannot
becomes
use that thing.
admissible.
Yes. So, you got to learn the word admissible.
And freedom cannot be sacrificed for safety's sake. And that's where the states are trying to say that they have police power. And that's exactly what I attacked in the very beginning when we started this evening is police power is not even defined in the 10th Amendment, which they say it is, which you and I both know that it is not.
It's not.
It is not. And when they start sacrificing the Constitution and they try to say it's for safety's sake, and we've already proven by bringing up all their well, all their doctrines and all their statistics, uh, it, it's always been about revenue. It had nothing to do with safety's sake. What we're saying here is when they say they have police powers, Eric, Cool Fox, and many of us have said police powers do not exist. And if they say they have them pointed out because I haven't found them. Have anybody else here found them? I haven't found where they have them. I don't see where they have judicial immunity. I haven't seen anywhere in the Constitution where it gives them judicial immunity when they violate their oath of office knowingly and willingly. So, you know, I might be off on my tangent, but when I look at government does and when they never had the authority and then they're going to press the issue that they do, like with Kevin's case out there in Massachusetts, who was on earlier today, they're making him put a breathalyzer on a crane, for crying out loud, and it's destroying his business and it's destroying his equipment. Tell me where the government literally has the lawful authority to come in and infiltrate the life of we the people with so much disdain for us just making a living. With that, I'll yield.
All right.
Brothers, forgive me for interrupting. Has either Brother Rick or Brother Fox have ones there have reference to the informers? No one's ever been a citizen of the United States by statute document.
Repeat what you said.
It's a document by the informer. Father rest his soul. He was he was much like a constitutionalist, and he wrote a document called "No one has ever been a citizen of the United States by statute."
That's correct. And
Yeah,
it wasn't just that documentation. A United States citizen is just I think we've covered that tonight, or you guys, I hope you guys covered that tonight, what a US citizen is and how you're not one unless you're employed by the United States government.
right.
I'm gonna
That's
leave
exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna leave that one alone. But yeah, I'm well aware.
There, there,
So
and the only reason, forgive me for interrupting again, the only reason why I asked was because there were three things that in order for someone to become a US citizen, he had to do. And it's in, brother was just reading a little bit prior to his last post where he was reading from there as to become a US citizen. There is in that documentation where man is referred to as a non-resident alien. And a non-resident alien was the
Correct.
term for man.
Well, that's absolutely correct as well, as we are non-resident aliens. We're aliens to the corporate government. Keep that in mind. And the more they try to indoctrinate us into being a US citizen, which we know if you've done enough study, you know you're not. And I don't get into calling myself a state national. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I'm a man. And somebody bring evidence into this courtroom showing that I'm not a man, because I will define myself as a man and nothing else and nothing less.
A man is devoid of statute. A man is devoid of statute. That's that is without any reservation. Man is devoid of statute, and that's what brother the informer, once again, Father rest his soul, brought in, and he explains it. But there were three things that he had to do, and if we had the time, we can read what one there was reading was about the three things that that one had to do, and one of them was
I
the
don't mean
third.
to cut you off, but I don't believe that as a man we have anything to do other than to stand up for our rights. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe I can't say what year it was, but I believe it was Madison. James Madison, I believe, said government's powers are and must remain few and defined. And that's what the Constitution was there put in place to do, is define what the government's role is and limit them from trespassing on the rights of we the people.
Federalist Paper 42 and 43.
Yeah, that was Madison, was it not?
Yes. See, that one of the things, the third thing that he had to do in order to become a U.S. citizen was, it shall be made to appear to the satisfaction of the court, admitting such alien that he has resided within the United States 5 years at least, and within the state or territory where a court is at time held 1 year at least, and that during that time he has behaved as a man, of good moral character, attached to the principles of the Constitution of the United States, and well disposed to the good order and happiness of the same. But the oath of the applicant shall in no case be allowed to prove his residence.
Absolutely. And
they-
residence, you got to look at the word residence and how it's defined in law. Do you really
Correct.
want to be a resident? No, you really don't. And I think if you guys look up 1796, and I know that to be a fact because I use it quite often, is the Cruden versus Neal case. And that in itself is just mesmerizing at how point blank it is on where we need to be today. And I would tell anybody, go to our website, go to any website, look up Cruden versus Neal and research. Yes, it is stare decisis. And yes, stare decisis is not law, but
Yep.
at the same point of being stare decisis, it what you're doing is when you say this is a violation of the Fourth Amendment, this is violation of the Fifth Amendment, this is violation of the Ninth Amendment, this is what you're doing is once you say where it's in violation, this is how you win your cases, ladies and gentlemen, is you say what violation of what part of the amendment or what amendment they're in violation of, then you back it up with stare decisis. You do not start a case on stare decisis. You start your case off very frankly saying you're in violation of this, you're in violation of that when it comes to the Constitution. Then you back it up with stare decisis. Do not start off your cases with stare decisis. And I hope I make myself clear on that. The reason I've always won is I show quite distinctly where they're in violation of well established law, which is the Constitution, for which they swore an oath to uphold, protect, and defend. Then I back it up with stare decisis. That's when you use it. But with that, I digress.
May I, real quick? I've been involved with sharing the modules of the jurisdictionary course materials since August 8th of 2024. And we do this 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for 2 hours from 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 3 o'clock. And we do this for free. There's no obligation, there's no requirement to make a donation or anything. So if anybody wants to join, you can send me an email at SOMAS, 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 WODI, WODI, at yahoo.com, and put in the subject matter, jurisdictionary course materials on how to win in court. Now, it's Dr. Graves' material, and we have multiple people that are signed up. In fact, there's a party here on this course material today who's been with us since August of 2024. And although it's not the end all of end alls, one of the most important things to learn is what the rules of the court are, the rules of evidence and the rules of civil procedure, because I think that's at the forefront of a foundation where you get an idea on how to operate, how to object timely, how to present evidence and get it admitted as evidence, admissible evidence. And so again, somaswadai at yahoo.com. That's correct, main pottery, Tonya. And so it's at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on Telegram. So anybody that wants to join us, again, it's free. All you need to do is commit to the time, 2 hours on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 3 o'clock Central Time. With that, I'll yield. Thank you very much.
And Dr. Graves and I have been working on some stuff together. So, Dr. Graves knows me personally. So, yeah, I will back up exactly what you said.
All right.
Now I'll yield.
So, to the stare decisis, and to the fruit of the poisonous tree. The fruit of the poisonous tree is based on the simple principle of you cannot enforce a right after you violated the right, violated the laws, and try to enforce, bring something within the court. So they're in violation of due process in various sense, and while they're in due process, they want to execute a right. Now, if you look right here, what I'm trying to show you, the principle of how things are set and construct, that probable cause does not execute a right. You see, probable cause, as I was telling you throughout the teaching, it's an undetermined word. Since it's an undetermined word, it cannot supersede a simple word like shall not be violated. So here's the answer to it. Even an AI can tell it because it's simple language that it can may know. For the short answer, no, it cannot supersede it. The word
And
shall not be violated is a mandatory command. It does not create probable cause. So since it shall not be violated, no probable cause can ever be created through the principle. Probable cause is an evidence threshold that means it need more things to be able to bring forth a fact in order for it to be executed.
and
Particularly facts that would lead to the reasonable person to believe that a crime is committed, and that evidence would be found in a specific place. So guess what? Since evidence is going to be found in a specific place, the action for the threshold to be taken is through the oath and affirmation, which is going to the court for the judge to sign off and then move to that place for the search with that warrant.
right, and it cannot strip members of mankind of their natural and secured rights that are secured under the Constitution. And when they do so, that's the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. You can go right in it. But more evidentiary. So since it doesn't reach to that specific place, labels the word to choose does not mean the burden of fact. So guess what? Courts actually treat the mix. So guess what? Absolute word shall not be violated. Set a default prohibition. They cannot do it. They're not supposed to do it. It's the Fourth Amendment. So even if they give you a documentation and let you assume that it's yours, even though it's theirs, guess what? They still can't force you to give it to you because you're still inside of the property, which is your car. So since it's inside of your property, even though they ask you for it, you are not required to give them anything within your household or within your vehicle. It isn't a free pass for the state.
Absolutely not. And that's where we were talking about very earlier this evening was the ex parte Milligan, 1866. And that right there, uh, and we're going back to stare decisis again. But like I said earlier, moments ago, is you show where they're in violation, and then you just use case law, the stare decisis, to back it up. And I think ex parte Milligan is a beautiful one to use against them. And with that, I'll yield.
Yep. So with the probable cause there supplies, so it's not a free pass for the state. It is constrained on the state. It doesn't supply probable cause at all. Doesn't supply it. So since it doesn't supply probable cause at all, you know what happened to the court and to the state? They can't make their allegation or the things them to try to bring it into evidence. It become inadmissible. So now we have to show you the principle of what admissible and inadmissible is in order for you to understand the structure of the court. So that's why I bring up the word admissible. This is accepted or valid, especially as evidence in court of law. Inadmissible is the one that they can't use certain things in the court of law. Excuse me.
And that also goes back to the supremacy clause.
So now it becomes not acceptable because they're what? they're in violation of shall not be violated, trying to use probable cause under a material misrepresentation of facts. Probable cause is yet to be determined. Since it's yet to be determined, is not no evidence to is not a right to where it can supersede it at all. Even though you have reasonable substantial material, you still need to be signed off by the judge in order for you to get the warrant to execute the search and the seizure. These
Absolutely.
are standard. So they guide judgment, but they also doesn't supply probable cause of themselves. Even though they have it, they have these doesn't supply the probable cause by themselves. They need they need more to be able to execute it. Courts require articulate particular factors under the total circumstances. You can see them in various stare decisis, but I don't trust stare decisis because I know that many times stare decisis what you can find are made up by these criminals.
Well, correct. And that's why I made the directive that you never start your case off on case law. You always show where you've been violated.
Mm-hmm.
That we also go back to the fruit of the poisonous tree. And that's when we're talking about positive law is legal and natural law is lawful. And when we talk about the Constitution, we go back to what's lawful and not positive law, what is legal. And I think a lot of people get confused on what's legal and lawful. And you have to admit that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're making a case and we're preparing a case, and I know Derrick knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you're preparing a case, you look at the violations that have been done, whether it's state or federal. You look at the violations and you bring those violations to the forefront where they violated, where they stepped out of their box, and that box they're supposed to stand in is the Constitution. So when they step out of that box, you show where they stepped out of the box, show how it's unlawful, then you bring in stare decisis to show, hey, this has also been backed up by the Supreme Court in such and such, such and such. So when you guys are preparing your cases, always, you need to know the Constitution. You need to know who it's there to protect and who it's there to limit. If you don't know that, you're lost. So I applaud all of you guys for listening to me and listening to this podcast because we as a people need to reclaim the sovereignty and remember that government is a servant, not a master, and start holding our public servants accountable to their trespasses. That I'll yield.
Yep, because they're trespassing the rights, interest, and title. We gotta hold them accountable, man. It's just basic or fundamental facts. Gotta put them in the position, let them understand who they are. And they use various tactics only because the people are ignorant to the law, and that's why we have to get you guys back onto par. Um, I understand that many people may believe that they are sovereign power, but they're not. Sovereignty can't come from a government that's a creation, it's a creature of mankind. We created it can't it can't the sovereignty is in the people. There are various doctrine and various books and various court cases be able to tell you that the sovereignty does not lie within the government. So they cannot have sovereign immunity. They can go fuck themselves if they believe that shit.
Exactly. If I
There's
if I
no.
may, if I may, real
Mhm,
quick, can
mhm.
we stop for just a second? Let us stop our recordings on our side, and then we're going to start again. And um, okay, it's 6:30, 6:32 Pacific time. Thank you so much. So continue on, please, sir. Thank you.
All right. I think anybody want to ask any more questions before I turn over to Derek?
I just want to thank you so much, Cool Fox, for all your information and everything that you're providing and all the work that you do and have done to bring this knowledge and wisdom to us today. Thank you so much.
You guys are welcome. We just gotta stick with each other. I'll go, Nicole. Go ahead and ask a question real quick.
Yeah, just wanted to get your Discord information and how we can connect with you. I'm on your TikTok, but just want to get that.
So the Discord is also on my TikTok. If you go on the page, you just copy the link and be able to go directly into the Discord. The reason why I've not pasted anything in my Discord for a long period of time, ladies and gentlemen, you can get the dictionary and the book that I read. You get those. I put them in there. People be selling my information and they be selling to people when I give them free. Sometimes the information I put it in there is just for people to actually understand structure certain things, and people take them and try to sell them to people, and then I see people buying them. But every now and then I would open up a free class where I will sit down and open up, and if you guys will join it, then you guys can join. But sometimes people don't really join. I will try to announce the class and stuff like that, but um, people don't really join. So I just don't do that. So stick with my work because I work for it's not just one government I work for. I work for at least eight to nine tribal nations that I do things for. So I'm really busy. Many times I'm really busy, so that's why I don't come on much. But when I do come on, I try to make sure you guys are up to date, up to par. Whenever I'm alive on my TikTok, you guys can jump up there, ask any information that you guys want when I open up the live. And when I do go live, I give you guys free information. But when I'm offline, I am working. So you guys are asking me to do work for you guys outside. So I take donation under those principles. Because
Absolutely.
be honest to you guys, many of the work that I do, I should have charged more, and I did not charge more. People can tell you sometimes I even take my own and I make sure I benefit them, but at the same time, because I want them to make sure they understand the development. And I do not do this for praises per se, because I know that I won't get this information without God giving me that grace to understand it. Because you see, I don't develop this on my own. Many of these information I get from you guys, what God gave me was the understanding of it. So I can be able to break it down the way I break it down for you guys, because you see what you guys need. And when I'm giving it to you guys, is because the way He gave it to give you, so you guys can understand it. So you must give it creation, the creator all the glory at all times, because whatever I'm doing, it may seem as glorious to you guys, but if He never guide me in that way, you guys would never get it in that way. So you got to give Him thanks because He's decided to let you guys loose right now. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the diligence of a people is what's going to save a nation and the world, because that's what God gave us the mental ability to teach, and that's what we do is we teach, and we're trying to bring back the diligence of a people and to defend our life and our liberty against an intrusive government that does not have the authority to trespass. And the betrayal has been monumental for decades. And it took the scamdemic to wake a lot of people up, and I'm thankful for that. And
Thank you.
I don't know what's going on inside, guys.
Is that your yard too?
This is Gina. I'm actually on Dwayne's here, Frederick. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you all. I've got for all the information. It's amazing. The history is amazing. I've got two cases coming up. One is against, well, it's Citibank, and the other one is a third-party debt collector that happens to be the attorney that owns the business, the third-party debt collection business. And so this is going to help a lot. And I know it's always, pardon me?
I know who that is, and I've got them in federal court right now. They're about ready to give up.
Citibank or
the debt collector.
The debt. Oh, well, this is a debt collector, local, and it was on a hospital debt, and so so-called debt, I should say. Anyway, I I have a lot more confidence in this after tonight. But it's my question is, it's a special. I thought I was going to do a special appearance. It's coming up. I have to have it done by next week. I've been waiting for this class so that I could get it taken care of. Now I know how to do it. I think I do. I have to go through your information again once it's all over here. But I just wanted to thank you, and I do believe that it was worth every penny, and you guys are just God's gift. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And
Thank you.
always remember, where lawful delegation ends, usurpation begins. And keep that in mind. Where lawful delegation ends, because we only delegated limited authority to government to protect our unalienable rights, protect our borders, and to coin our money. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
So whenever you feel like government is pressing you and they're doing it, is it lawful? Always question that. And with that, I'm going to back off and give the floor over. But I am so passionate about we the people standing up and taking back our rights. And I don't want to say rebuilding a nation, but making the government aware that they cannot push us any further into despotism. And I pray that you guys see that the power that you have as a man or a woman in your own communities, how you can be a beacon of light to bring others into this fold and this movement of, it was the 3%ers. We heard this. There was only 3% of the colonists that stood against the tyranny from King George. Okay. We, as a 3% nation, can actually reclaim the freedom that God gave us and that we as a people need to prosper and be our brother's keeper. And I'm going to leave it at that. God bless each and every one of you. I'm going to bow out and just listen.
We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones.
Stephen, go ahead.
I just like to ask regarding the speeding ticket, if it's still okay, or should I wait for Derek to discuss it later, or is it going to be tackled?
It can ask. This is same topic basically. Do a traffic
Okay.
laws.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask because I'm here from San Antonio. I know Mr. Martin is pretty familiar, I guess, in Texas. So I have this speeding ticket. It's going 2 years now, next January. And of course, at the beginning, I've been receiving letter, emails, and text that, you have to pay this and this and that. So pretty much I ignored it, right? And then lately, I think a week or two ago, I received an email and text telling me that you're not going to be arrested, blah, 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 just settle this, something like that. So on that one, because they're saying that it's going to be, my license is going to be suspended if I'm not going to be paying those or settle those once I renew. It's 2029 anyway, so I tend to ignore it. So for that case, what should I do in order for that to kind of like to clear, I should say, or
I
settle?
put my email up there for anybody that wants to email me, and I'll send you paperwork on how to defeat it.
Okay. Thank you
Fair
so
enough.
much.
All right. God bless.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I want to address those topics, but I know the topics that they're gonna address, and I don't want to re-already. That's why I gave you guys the way I give you guys it, because I know Derek is gonna address certain things in a certain concept. He's already structured a way to address that, so he's gonna address that in his speech. And what's his name? Ricky Martin did that. Rick Martin just did that earlier, and I think he said, as you just said, he's gonna do that for you again. As for the topic that the young lady was talking about of her house, um, once you understand the structure, certain things you guys can do any single one of them. But I would suggest when you're dealing with the house and property, cars and titles and all that stuff, you want to let them validate the debt and they want them to by giving you the chain of title and chain of assignment, because they do not have the chain of assignment and they do not have the proper endorsement of the note, they cannot execute, cannot have no execution. So you have to have that at original filing. So look at the look at the contract, look at whatever it is that they brought to the court as a claim, tell the court that it doesn't have no proper chain of assignment or proper chain of title, and you cannot tell if he truly owned the debt. You need to verify the claim in which he brought to the court, and if he doesn't brought the proper claim to the court, you must dismiss immediately and indemnify me for the harassment filing that he filed. Every court case that's filed in the court case comes with a remedy, ladies and gentlemen. And just say no, he that bring the claim must come with the remedy. So anyone that file a claim at you, he have to give you a remedy at the end of it. Do not leave the court systems without getting remedy for any claim brought against you or any claim you file in there. Remedy must be rendered at the end of the court case.
Hey, cool Fox.
Mm.
So
Can Mark get if there's stuff to get a hold of you, Mike?
You kind of
cool.
break up. I didn't hear what you said.
Hey, so my question is, I had a couple court cases last year. Can I still go after them for that?
Yes. Once they find out that the court case was not based on a structure of law or any form of relief that they could be granted, you can go ahead and go after them for that. Just make sure you make your claim properly. I show you how to use the Federal Rule 8 to show you the construct of your documentation. You must do it for a proper purpose. It's called fictitious action when the government or anybody brought a case of the court that doesn't have no standing or in violation, or if the court case is already finished and there was fraud upon the court, it can reopen it based on the principle of fraud upon the court, Federal Rule 60D3.
Void judgment. It's a void judgment.
Yeah, it's if it's a void judgment, you can use a Federal Rule 60D. B3, I think it's B3. D3 and B3 is two different things. So we just know that when it's fraud upon the court, it's fraud upon the court. When it's not fraud upon the court, it's the other one. So B and D is two different things.
I'm sorry, Cool Fox, would you please repeat that code again, please?
For Federal Rule 60D and 60B, is two of them. It's two different ones. D3 is when there's fraud upon the court. I think it's B. Let me see if I could bring it up. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ooh, Fox. How about this? There was a forfeiture seizure. I mean, what is it? Forfeiture seizure, where they took some money from out of the car off the person, like $7,000. And they kept the 7,000. They did a civil forfeiture, and this was before they even had any type of trial saying that the person did anything wrong, anything. The person actually ended up beating the case, but they still, when he went back to ask for his money back, they said no, it's gone, and nothing can be done about it or anything like that. And they gave him a rundown of how they split it. You know, most of it went to the agency that locked him up. Some went to the DA office, the judge got a little piece of it and stuff like that. What could be done about that?
That's theft. That's a criminal action. You have to submit. You have to prosecute them. You have to prosecute them. You have to bring them to the Supreme Court to prosecute them. You can't prosecute them by yourself. They're gonna tell us that you can't prosecute them. So either one, you're supposed to submit a criminal offense to the Attorney General and force him to act on it. And when once you force him to act on it, if he doesn't act on it, you then hold him accountable for responding superior, because he's the superior of them over there. And then you push it in the Supreme Court and drag the both of them there. Because why? You make a complaint to him for prosecution, and he did not do what he's supposed to do in the opposites of the fraud. If you guys can clearly show the evidence thereof, make sure you bring that tort claim. You can do a civil tort claim against them in the Supreme Court to recoup back whatever money it is.
Can I interject one thing? Like what we did when we went and we brought the Fauci dossier to God knows how many county courthouses back on February 14th, what was that? Valentine's Day for Love, Operation for Love of Freedom 2022. Every prosecutor that does not bring the evidence forth to a grand jury is in violation of Title 18, Section 4, misprism of a felony. Write that down because it's good to know.
Yep.
I just posted in the room where there's a court case, and the court case was taken to there was some kind of court action, and they were brought into the tax court, and the tax court um, contacted the DOJ with a qui tam action to go after everyone involved in that, from the judge to the prosecutor to the clerks. Everybody were getting embezzlement and all these other charges, and I posted at the bottom of the room down there. It's a LinkedIn account. The tax court proffered qui tam action to the DOJ, and they're all getting hit.
Good. Good. Would you repeat that Title 18 again,
Title
please?
18, Section 4, misprism of a felony.
Thank you.
And that's when a prosecutor refuses to bring, when you have the evidence, refuses to bring it to a grand jury for an indictment.
Okay. Thank you.
They like to violate due process. You can only do everything. There's a violation of due process because some of them are criminals by nature. They especially also the people them that do the banking rules and regulation. You can use them for fraud or false statement or concealment because some of them put fraud on the court. So I put a court document right there.
Yeah, you should get the grand jury transcripts as well, because many times it's fraud on the court. What they're telling these grand jurors, they're not following the law; they're following their own opinion. So that's something that you guys should be aware of too. That's a misprision of felony too, and it's perjury.
I happen to know I'm sorry.
The gentleman that is helping us in making a recording and transcribing everything has asked for a 20-minute intermission so he can get everything situated and put together before I get started. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we'll get started here in about 20 minutes, and I'll let you guys wrap it up, and then so stretch your legs, go out and do a couple jumping jacks, do some knee highs, grab yourself a couple pots of coffee and about 10 packs of cigarettes because you're going to need them. And
Derek is coming back in.
All right. I'm coming in strong. So I'm going to simplify a lot of what you've heard tonight, and we're going to be moving pretty quick. Again, I heard Smoking Baby's voice when he says he dropped something in the chat. Be very, very wise for every last person to grab that. A qui tam action is very, very, very powerful. And he's the one that taught me to stop beating my little war drum, although I'm still prone to doing it from time to time. But they don't take directives from us. There's agencies put in place since Abraham Lincoln that all we have to do is make an observation, create a record, and report it. So the suits that I'll be talking about are coming after him in their private capacity, giving the Attorney General the opportunity to prosecute. If he's derelict in his duty, he becomes a party in interest for aiding and abetting, derelict in his duty. So he who says nothing when he has a duty to respond consents to the thing being done, therefore becoming a liable party. And so he has a fiduciary duty when you report a crime to investigate it, or at least send it up the chain of command. What I'm going to teach you guys is about the Solicitor General and the power of the Solicitor General and who he delegates some authority to, which is the Attorney General's. So it's really funny when they're derelict in their duty, they're in a whole mess of hot water. And we're going to cover a lot of that tonight.
I know the Attorney General of Montana, and I I've known him forever. He's an asshole. And that's all I got to say. I guess
Well,
maybe.
as soon as you guys learn how to communicate short, sweet, to the point without any emotion, you'll start getting results. Because
Exactly.
when you're using emotion, it's just a mistake. It's a huge mistake. And I speak from experience because I used to write 90-page documents. One of my first mentors laughed. I go, "Did you read it?" He goes, "I did the same thing a judge is going to do with it." I go, "What's that?" He goes, "I didn't even get past the first 3 sentences and I threw it in the trash." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me? It took me fucking almost a month to put that together." He's like, "All you were doing was whining, sand in your vagina, cry, cry, cry." I said, "How the fuck do you know that?" He goes, "It was within the first 3 sentences. I knew the rest of it was going to be that." And then I looked at it and said, "Jesus, Derek, it's 3/4 of an inch fucking thick. You think anybody's going to read that shit?" And he threw it in the
No.
trash. Because I did the same thing with
That's,
Disney.
you
So
shouldn't have anything more than 6 pages. And I think 6 pages is too long.
I
If
think
you
that's
ask me.
extreme. If you can't make your point in 2 poignant paragraphs with a signature page, you need to go back to the drawing board.
Right. Nothing should be more than 6 pages. And as I just said, 6 pages is too long.
Yeah, I mean 6 pages if you're going after an entire town, but then it's the city of ETL, you know.
Right. See, you and I are on the same
Short,
point.
sweet, to the point. And here's the other thing. As we become learned, so often we go, "Oh, we got them for mail fraud. Oh, we got them for terroristic threats. Oh, we got them for conspiracy. Oh, we got them for oppression of the color of law, color of authority, color of office, mixed war against the Constitution." No, 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 no. Simplify it. Find the most damning thing that you absolutely know will stick to that one subject matter, and get paid out instead of trying to compound everything. And then you have to prove each and every element of each and every claim.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing, when you start compounding everything like that, then you start commingling from civil claims and commingling criminal claims within it, and they're scratching your document because they're not going to allow you to prove criminal elements in a civil claim. Now, it doesn't mean that the civil violation or the violation of your rights didn't involve some type of criminal activity, but stick to what caused you harm, damage, and loss. Find one or two key points and find the elements that support those key points, support it with the evidence and the affidavit, and fault them and default them, and go get yourself a declaratory judgment before you ever go into the public. If you already have
Derek, I had a question.
judgment before you go into the public, there won't be a need to go in the public because your private administrative process is a private foreign judgment, and you'll be able to take it to the clerk of the court and say it's a private matter that just needs to be handled in camera, in chamber. They already waived their right to a trial. They already waived their right to cross-examination, subpoenas, interrogatories, so on and so forth. And as such, all I need is for this to be reviewed to make sure that I provided them due process of law and signed my order.
Absolutely. Absolutely. God bless you for saying it.
You said a declaratory judgment?
Yes. Smoking
All right.
one that taught me about declaratory judgments. The unique thing about declaratory judgments is that only men and women can get a declaratory judgment. Now, there's going to be some attorneys that may or may not be on here that would argue the contrary, but one of the prerequisites and key elements to getting a declaratory judgment is you have to be a real party in interest. And an attorney is not a real party in interest. So the only way you can get a legitimate declaratory judgment is if you're the man or woman aggrieved with firsthand perfected knowledge of the facts.
Hey, Derek, I got a question.
Attorneys will tell you that declaratory judgments are old law. We don't use that anymore. It's not that they don't use that. They can't do it because they would have to be a fact witness or have firsthand knowledge, therefore removing themselves from being able to be the attorney on behalf of their principal.
Derek,
and government, keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, government is only legitimate so long as it secures our inherent rights. And that's what the duty of the court is. And you just hold them accountable. That's simple. And Derek's spot on with what he just said. Keep it simple, stupid.
Hey, I got a question about my Florida case real quick. So I know what you're saying about the probable cause basically has to have an affidavit to bring it before a judge before they can issue an arrest or anything like that. Am I correct?
Could you restate that? I didn't quite grab that.
They can issue
Okay.
whatever they want. The point of the matter is if you don't understand the elements and the prerequisites for being able to order something that is lawful and binding, then they'll do whatever they want. It's like
Yeah,
people
well,
all the time amaze me, go, "Oh, the cops can't do that." Are you kidding me? We watch them do it every day. They absolutely can do it. The question is whether or not you're intelligent enough to know your rights to be able to hold them accountable for it, to ensure
yeah,
that
that's what I'm trying to. I'm just trying to get clarification on. They're gonna say their statutory requirement was the officer seen it, so therefore he's got probable cause, so he can
That's
issue the citation.
Assume facts not in
Yeah.
evidence, facts not agreed to, and requires legal determination. And I'm owing a probable cause hearing. See,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
arraigned people, they tell everybody, hey, you're going to be summoned for an arraignment. Wait a minute. That's a violation of due process of law. I have the right to a probable cause hearing before arraignment. I want to hear the facts that were produced before the court to find out whether there's any legitimacy to it. And I want an opportunity to be heard. So when a cop goes to the judge in order to get a summons or a warrant issued, the only time that it's acceptable for them not to notify you of the probable cause hearing is if it's a matter of national security or imminent threat. So in other words, if they suspect you of murder, some type of capital crime,